Today on our show,
Nothing but fan theories up to your eyeballs, fan theories coming out of your nose, all kinds of fan theories and crazy things that'll probably never come true on this episode of the Out of Our Minds podcast. Welcome to episode 3 of the Out of Our Minds. We're talking with our hands. We've made it out of the terrible twos, and we are into our very first third episode.
Very first third.
I don't know what I'm saying.
Very first third
It works.
episode.
Don't think about it. It's math. We don't talk about that here. That's a serious thing. We're talking about life distractions.
And this thing keeps showing up.
Get rid of the pen. Wow.
That was with gusto.
That was, I hope it's not broken or you owe me a pen.
I really hope it's not broken either.
All right, so we are very happy to have you back again for our episode here. It's a little bit of a different episode. Not so much news, no guests, no celebrity stars. It's just fan theories and things we like reading on the internet.
Yes.
Things that get us excited for the things we love.
Yes, and I hope everyone had a very happy and safe Halloween, with it being November 1st.
It's my father's birthday today, so
Happy
Father.
birthday, Papa Avery!
Yes.
That's his name, Papa Avery.
He doesn't watch this. Anyway, so we've got some fan theories, and are any of these from your own mind? All of mine I stole from somewhere on the internet.
2 of them are from my own mind, which means that 2 of them probably won't be very good.
Well, I've got a couple of those as well. I think the thing that everybody is doing the most theories about right now is Star Wars.
Yes, absolutely.
So why don't we just lead in with The Last Jedi and what that trailer could possibly mean?
Yes, absolutely. So my fan theory for Star Wars The Last Jedi, solely based on the trailer, is the fact that Rey may go dark side.
Okay.
Let me
Can I tell
explain.
you a little something I know about Rey
Sure,
going dark side?
sure, absolutely.
There is a Disney Store t-shirt that got released that is Rey with a red lightsaber surrounded by red. So that was a little bit of a tip-off that something might... It could just be an artsy fashion choice, but I thought that's a pretty...
That's very
big
interesting.
detail that Disney Store kind of let slip out.
Because, okay, so here's the theory. In the trailer, we know several things. One, Rey is one of the most powerful Jedi that Luke has ever seen.
And he terrifies him.
This one terrifies him. He even has the line of, I've seen this uncontrollable power before, and it didn't scare me then, but it does now. Which, first of all, amazing line. So that is number one.
Luke Skywalker is afraid of something.
Yes.
That's good.
Yes.
That's good.
We can only assume that he's referring to Vader.
Sure.
Okay.
Or Yoda.
I don't think he's talking about Yoda.
You've seen Yoda flip around and stuff.
No, don't think so.
Okay, we'll say it's Vader.
Okay, so then in the trailer, you see Kylo Ren shooting down all the different ships, and then
I'll pause you here.
Huh.
Do you think that's connected with that he's got a gun down Leia? Do you think that's
Hang on,
editing trick? It's all in there?
Oh,
Okay.
it's all in there.
Okay, I'm ready.
I think it is not an editing trick. I think that is the shot from the movie. But if you notice, he does not click the button whenever they break away. I think he chickens out. He doesn't push the button. But Snoke kills her anyway to try and push him more into the dark side, but it does the complete 180, and it pushes him to the light side, and he and Luke have to team up to join Rey, because Luke will not teach Rey the ways of the Force and how to be a Jedi, because he's so afraid of her. So, she goes to Snoke, and that is why Snoke
we see that weird shot of her.
Yes. And that is why Snoke is talking to her throughout the entire trailer.
Okay, something to further back this up. Have you seen the thing about the Taiwanese dub of the trailer?
No.
So the subtitles of the Taiwanese version of that trailer the characters they use are distinctly male and female, so you know who they're talking to. So certain lines said by Luke are to a male. He uses a male, I guess, pronoun character in Taiwanese.
Really?
Yes. So I don't know how factually accurate that is, but
that is very interesting, and it lends heavily to my theory.
And Snoke is speaking to a female.
If that happens, that would be the biggest
So Kylo Ren will go light.
Yes, Rey will go dark. Yes.
Why does Rey go dark?
I feel like she has had her entire life. She was left on the planet by who we can only assume are her parents.
Who do you think it is? Do we know who it is, or is it somebody entirely unrelated to our world?
I think that it was Han and Leia.
Okay.
I think it was Han and Leia.
This ties into one of my theories, so I'm excited
because I think that Kylo and Rey are brother and sister, just how Leia and Luke were brother and sister.
I think that's too easy.
And hang on, but
okay.
But that is why, because see, here's the thing: when there are twins, one is always more powerful than the other. Luke more powerful than Leia.
Sure.
With the Force. Leia has the Force, but Luke is much stronger in the Force than Leia was.
Always two there are.
Always two.
Okay, mine kind of derails that just a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, so Rey is a solo. Rey is a solo.
Well, we'll go on that assumption.
Okay, but I think they've been keeping some secrets, and we're going to have a reverse. In this episode, Luke is going to get to say, "I'm your father," to Kylo Ren. That's why he's had to hide himself.
So, incest?
How so?
Leia is his sister, bro.
Well, yes, but Luke is with somebody, whoever Luke is with, in his period we don't see him.
Okay, but then Han and Leia pick up...
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Not incest.
No.
On the show Out of Our Minds podcast, in no way whatsoever do we ever condone incest, unless it's Game of Thrones.
I never said that. Kylo Ren is not a solo.
Okay.
Kylo Ren is a Skywalker. With some unknown we've never seen. We've never seen mom.
Which in the uncanon, which I still consider it canon, but the uncanon, Luke does get married, he has children, and so on.
So that's one of my theories, is that we're going to get the reverse of the I'm your father. Not as good, didn't get me as excited about it as your whole that thing did, but I also saw another thing about Luke that was maybe there are two Luke Skywalkers. There is a dark side, there's a clone. We have cloned Luke Skywalker. And perhaps there is a dark side Luke Skywalker. And a hero Luke Skywalker who we already know. Maybe they cloned him off of that hand he lost.
I was about to say, how did they clone him? How did they clone him? Because
all I saw was that it came off of that hand.
Because Django had to submit himself to be cloned. That's how they were, and that's because he had to stay on Kamino so he could keep feeding the clone army.
Sure.
Okay. I was about to say, how do they get the clone? But the hand would make sense.
Could be a hand. It could be something to do with the whole Vader thing. Maybe there's a file of things in case something happens to Vader. They can rebuild their most powerful Sith Lord. That's not canon in any way, shape, or form.
No. But if they, let's be honest, they're not really going canon anymore. Well, I guess now technically that is. It's a new canon, but it doesn't line up with the old canon, which is just, I don't know. We don't know. We're in the Wild West of Star Wars.
J.J. Abrams is. Have you read his statement on the new one?
No.
On the episode 9?
No.
It's unifying all of the trilogies. It says so everything's gonna get tied up. It seems like that's all he said was that they're unifying the 3 trilogies together.
That is awesome.
So that's a interesting little note. Before we've even gotten to 8 yet, J.J. Abrams is already
That's cool. Okay, so, well, see, like, Rogue One did tie up a lot of the loose ends that, were with, the New Hope. Thank you. Rogue One tied up a lot of those, and if Episode 9, you said, ties up a lot of loose ends with the prequels.
Who do you think Snoke is? Do we know who Snoke is, or Snoke somebody entirely different? Because that seems to be the thing that's breaking all of these theories. Is Snoke Vader? Is Snoke Palpatine?
I don't think it's Palpatine or Vader. There's this theory that I heard.
Is it Jar Jar Binks?
No.
Is it Mace Windu?
God. No, it's not Mace Windu. Although I did hear that theory. Dear God, please don't let it be Jar Jar.
I heard that it's one of the guys that Obi-Wan bumps in the cantina in one of the prequels, but he's got a horn on his head in the exact spot that Snoke has that dip. But
that's so dumb. No, I did hear a theory that it is Grand Moff Tarkin.
Oh.
And when the Death Star went kablooey.
That's why he's creepy CGI.
Yes.
Okay.
When the Death Star went kablooeyed, they realized Vader was not going to come back to the dark side because he had done his thing and he was dead. That they chose Grand Moff Tarkin, and I mean, if you notice in the original movies, Grand Moff Tarkin is aware of the Force. Everyone else is like, that Force hokum, old religion, and Grand Moff Tarkin's like, you better not.
Does he get out? Do we see Grand Moff Tarkin escape?
We don't see him escape, but if you notice in the original movies, he is the only person to ever control Vader, besides Palpatine. Besides the Emperor, he's Vader. He gives this line of something along the lines of like, Vader, cut it out, pretty much, and he's just like,
interesting,
right?
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, because how do you think Obi-Wan fits in? Because there's been all these debates of is Rey a Kenobi?
I've seen that. I don't see how she could be. Because of the fact that he died, from what I understand, well, it would the timeline doesn't add up.
Right.
The timeline doesn't add up for Ben Kenobi to have been dead and Luke and Leia to go off, and I'm not Luke and Leia, Leia and Han to go off and be married and create Kylo or Rey, whatever you think that it is.
Okay. Because I heard a report that they couldn't make the Obi-Wan solo movie a thing because Obi-Wan's somehow tied up in our current trilogy of stories.
Is that right?
That's what I heard. And I know...
Where'd you hear this from?
I believe I heard it on a Hollywood Babylon. So...
I did not hear that on a Hollywood Babylon. I'll have to go back and listen.
I can't really cite the source, but I remember Kevin Smith doing a, what? That's about all I remember.
Oh, that's awesome.
But I know Ewan McGregor wants to come back and do something.
Oh, and he would
form or fashion.
Oh, he would be so good. I feel like he needs to get his own movie, an Obi-Wan movie. Which
prequels Obi-Wan of him training and learning his ways, or between when we see Obi-Wan in the prequels.
Maybe,
Jawas.
maybe middle story. It maybe kind of like jumps from.
Okay.
It kind of skips throughout the prequels and then shows you what life is like after the Clone Wars, and after he, cuts the legs and arms off of old Darth Vader-y before he was Darth Vader-y Anakin,
Darth Vader-y is
Darth
the cutest
Vader-y.
little cartoon character I've ever seen in my life.
That is one thing that I am really glad that Rogue One did, is he gave Darth Vader his balls back. He really did.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, like, obviously I wasn't alive whenever the original trilogy came out in theaters, but I remember watching them growing up and being deathly afraid of Darth Vader. I was terrified of Darth Vader. I was afraid that he was going to come to my house, force choke me, and I was going to die. Okay, I'm scared of him to death. And then with the prequels, knowing that Anakin becomes Darth Vader, the whole sand thing. I'm sorry, but Darth Vader's not... Sand's not going to bother him.
You can't take out Vader with a litter box?
No. It just... George, what were you thinking?
Okay, isn't it crazy, though, that it took, 47 seconds of a scene in Rogue One to make Vader the coolest human thing in the world?
Yes.
More
I would consider him a cyborg.
Whatever. I just said the wrong word.
Yeah, whatever. But yeah, no, that whole force choke lift slice motion was like, oh, metal. Like, yes. Oh, I got chills right now just thinking about it. It gave him his balls back, and I was so glad that Rogue One did that. Thank you, Rogue One. I don't know why I'm thinking a movie, but...
So, we can move on to another...
Yes, we can now move on.
Did you have any more Star Wars that we need to...
Not that I can think of.
Okay.
I think that's it for Star Wars.
There's stuff I didn't even know I wanted. All right, so I am not an avid watcher of The Walking Dead.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen the first 2 seasons. I'm slowly working my way through.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know. Is it ending anytime soon? Are they planning to end anytime soon? Okay, so
no,
I'll
no. I think the premiere of this season got somewhere close to 14 million views.
Did you watch it?
Oh, I did. Yes.
No spoilers.
No spoilers. It was very good. I'm glad. It seems like this season is not going to be a dialogue fest like last season was. I saw a
thing online that it showed the parallels between this new episode and the very first episode.
Yes, they did a whole bunch of bunch of callbacks, which I was really glad that they did. It's not a spoiler, but they did do the callback to the gas station with the little girl, and that was really cool to see. And they did a whole bunch of callbacks to a whole bunch of different other stuff, which I won't go into because spoilers. But yes, it was so good. I really, really enjoyed it, and I'm really looking forward to the rest of the season because of the fact that I think it's going to be one of the more action-packed seasons that we've had.
Did last season kind of slow just a little bit?
There was
what I've heard and read. Okay.
It was people compare it to the prison. There was a lot of talking and a lot of character exploration is what I like to call it.
It is a soap opera, but just happen to have zombies in there. But you need to see a little more zombie than
yeah. Yeah. There wasn't a whole lot of zombies last season. There was a whole lot of dialogue.
Walkers. I'm sorry, we can't call them zombies.
Walkers, zombies, whatever.
Sorry.
They're zombies, people. They're zombies.
I have a fan theory about The Walking Dead.
Please, go ahead.
I feel the reason that I'm not interested in The Walking Dead is because I've already seen The Walking Dead. This fan theory backs me up. I have seen 3 movies that are The Walking Dead. Pretty much beat for beat. Story of The Walking Dead.
I'm listening.
Toy Story is The Walking Dead. The hero is a sheriff. I'm going to have to read this because this is great. He has a kid that he loves more than life itself. But the kid grows fond of the hero's best friend, who'd be Buzz Lightyear, if we're following here. They come to blows beneath a truck. Look at this. It is the exact same shot. They have an argument.
They don't go beep every time he slams his head.
The hero kills his friend, and being overwhelmed by an army of, in this case, it was little green tiny soldiers, but it's zombie walker guys. Okay? Horribly disfigured. Sid tortured those toys. Corpses of former toys. There's even a plot line around Woody's famous phrase, "Somebody's poisoned the water hole." Well, Walker. Grossness. All right? Season 2, we're introduced to a yodeling cowgirl. Huh? We've got all of this back and a white-haired old man with a walking stick.
Oh, my God.
In number 3, we discover an idyllic gated community. We're welcomed with open arms by a kindly leader who likes to stand on back of trucks and speaks with a southern accent.
Oh my god.
We find that their new home is more like a prison, and because the leader is a psychopath driven mad by the loss of his little girl. Toy Story is The Walking Dead. I saw The Walking Dead in 1995 on VHS.
Oh my god.
I don't need your, how many seasons? 8 seasons?
Yeah.
That you're in now? Take that. I'm a little pro-Disney, if you can't tell.
The sad thing is Toy Story is not going to prepare you for whenever your face is eaten up by a zombie.
I feel differently, but we'll move on to what is your
Toy Story's going to really prepare you for zombies.
Toy Story prepared me for life.
Zombies are real, people. Get ready. There's never a bad time to prepare, except for yesterday.
You're too late now.
Too late.
What is your Walking Dead theory? Not that it holds any water now.
No,
because I just
no, it doesn't. No,
poked holes all over your little show, your soap operas.
My story.
Your stories.
I've got to go watch my story.
I'm sorry. Watch your stories. Bring me my pills at 4.
Oh my gosh, I'm so done with you. Okay, so my Walking Dead fan theory is that Abraham, yes, the most beloved dead character for most people, I will say for myself, he is one of the most beloved, just because of the awesomeness of his slogans, is actually the link to the crossover episode or episodes of Fear the Walking Dead and Walking Dead. There's a possibility that the characters from Fear the Walking Dead, as we know, they're in more of the beginning stages of the apocalypse, when in Walking Dead kind of started a couple months. I believe they said it was 3 months after it had already happened. Walking Dead or Fear the Walking Dead started at the very beginning. There was 1 or 2 walkers, and people didn't really believe other people, and yada yada yada. But from what this fan theory says is that Abraham gets introduced to the characters on Fear the Walking Dead. I apologize, I'm not familiar with Fear the Walking Dead. I've watched probably halfway through the first season, which from what I understand, it's a very good show.
It's essentially Monsters Inc. Don't worry about that one. Sorry, keep going. We've still got
3 episodes in, and we're done. Goodbye.
I love Disney, okay?
I'm done. I'm done with you. I'm done. So, Walking Dead.
Mm-hmm.
Abraham crossover. He meets the people of Fear the Walking Dead, and that's where he meets Rosita and Eugene, and then everyone knows the story that happens thereafter. That's it. Are you happy?
I've got another theory about Disney movies.
Oh.
The Pixar universe is entirely connected to each other. It is the same universe. It is the exact same thing. Disney hater.
Wonder Woman. My theory for Wonder Woman is everyone knows that Wonder Woman is probably the best DC movie that has come out so far. Feels like they got everything right in that movie, even setting it in World War I instead of World War II.
We've already got a superhero in World War II.
Yeah, but different franchise.
Oh, sorry.
So, I feel like everything that went perfectly right with Wonder Woman, they will do again, but in World War II, because it is the battle of her trying to come to grips with the fact that humans sometimes are just bad. Because she did not want to believe that in the first one. And she was right about Ares, being behind World War I. Even though even me, I thought that Ares wasn't going to show up. I thought that Ares just didn't exist. I thought that she was just thinking that he did, and he didn't. I don't think that she killed him. I think that Ares is going to come back for World War II.
Is he the DC Universe's Loki now?
I think so.
Do they bring him back for everything?
I don't know if they bring him back for everything because, we haven't seen him in Batman v Superman. We haven't seen him in Suicide Squad. We haven't seen him, which granted, Loki wasn't in every single Marvel movie, which he could potentially be. I don't know. But I do believe that he will come back for World War II, and that is where Wonder Woman will defeat him. That's why there hasn't been a World War since.
Okay.
That is why.
So there's not a trilogy because Wonder Woman canceled it.
Right. Okay. Exactly. There's no World War III because of the fact that she has finally strucken down Ares. Is that what the right word? Took down Ares. That's it. But yeah, also there's another theory that you actually reminded me of earlier of the Martian Manhunter theory, where Chris Pine's character, I cannot remember his name.
Steve Trevor.
Steve Trevor. Thank you. Steve Trevor is actually the Martian Manhunter. The real Steve Trevor died in the plane crash, but Martian Manhunter can form into any human or really anything that he wants. So he takes the form of a dead soldier from World War I and goes out to live a new life.
Why do you think he chooses that form? Is that part of the story? Do you think we see? Do you think the photograph comes back in?
I think that Martian Manhunter, yes, is escaping the white Martians on Mars. I feel like I said Mars way too many times in different iterations. Space. I think that he, is escaping the white Martians. I feel like he came to Earth. He may have taken the picture because he wanted to lie low. But once he found out that Steve Trevor died, he knew that this Wonder Woman character was someone to stick close to, maybe not to befriend, but maybe someone that he needed to protect the world from at first, because this is his new home. He does not want the same thing to happen to Earth that happened to Mars. So maybe he sticks close to Wonder Woman and takes the personification of Steve Trevor to get close to her. So that is a theory that I literally just came off the top of my head.
Would she fall for that?
I think that she would because she does love Steve Trevor and Love Is Blind.
And is Bruce there like, don't do it? Or is Bruce just totally
blind? I think for the sequel, he comes back in some sort of fashion. Like she sees him like in the corner of her eye. This is in World War II, by the way. Like obviously she would know if like he was in 2017, he wouldn't be real.
That's where I got confused.
Yeah,
okay,
no.
So we're still in World War II.
Yes, we're still in World War II. I think that for the second film, she like sees him in like a glint or something, and she's like, "Whoa, was that? That's not who I think it is." And then that may be part of the dilemma that she has to be faced with is taking down Ares and trying to figure out if Steve Trevor's still alive.
Because Martian Manhunter has gone back to the base to get some of Steve Trevor's belongings so he can assume his
Very nice. I like it.
There.
Well, if you enjoyed this episode, please stick around for next week's episode. Every Wednesday at noon is when we're going to be putting those babies up.
If you have any fan theories of your own, let us know somewhere. Or if one of these theories is totally stupid, let us know somewhere. We've got tons of social media. You can email us directly at outofourmindspodcast@gmail.com. And there's a Facebook, there's a SoundCloud, there's a Twitter. There's tons of ways to get in touch with us. If you watched the entire thing, made it through Pixar Theory, leave us a comment. Let us know that you watched. And we will see you next week.
Oh, Pixar.